Hello, and welcome to this session on the threat landscape for AI systems. My name is Harry Singh, and I'm with Source Development Group. In today's lecture, we're going to explore some of the most pressing security threats facing AI systems and why understanding these threats is so important for anyone working with AI technologies. Let's get started by laying the foundation for what we'll cover. First, let's talk about why AI systems are uniquely vulnerable. As we rely more on AI for decision making and automation, we're also seeing a rise in targeted attacks on these systems. But unlike traditional IT systems, AI models are vulnerable across their entire lifecycle. This means that from the moment data is collected, through the training and deployment of the model, and even once it's live in the real world, there are points where things can go wrong. So in this overview, we're going to introduce you to the key types of threats that exist and give you a high-level understanding of how they impact AI systems. This is crucial if you're developing, deploying, or managing AI systems in your organization. Now let's take a closer look at the AI lifecycle and where specific threats arise. The first stage is data collection. Here, issues like data poisoning or biased datasets can creep in. Poison data is where malicious actors introduce flawed or deceptive information into the data pool, corrupting the AI model from the start. Then we have the model training stage. This is where adversarial attacks come into play. Attackers can try to manipulate or even steal AI models itself during this phase. Once the model is deployed, things like evasion attacks can occur. These attacks attempt to trick the model into making incorrect predictions. And finally, during post-deployment, AI systems are subject to something called model drift, where their accuracy will degrade over time, making them more susceptible to attacks they weren't originally trained to handle. Each of these stages presents unique challenges, and understanding them is the first step to securing your AI system. One of the biggest threats we hear about in AI is adversarial attacks. These are particularly interesting because they involve subtle, often unnoticeable manipulations to the input data that can completely fool an AI model. Think about an AI system designed to recognize images. By tweaking just a few pixels, an attacker can trick that system into misclassifying an image, say identifying a stop sign as something completely different, like a yield sign. The implications of this can be severe, especially in critical applications like autonomous vehicles or facial recognition. Adversarial attacks highlight one of the fundamental weaknesses in how AI models interpret the world, and we'll be exploring these more in detail in later modules. While adversarial attacks are one of the most well-known threats, they are just the tip of the iceberg. AI systems are consistently evolving, and so are the threats. One emerging concern is how generative AI can be used to create more sophisticated attack vectors. Attackers can use AI-generated content to create realistic fake data, or even generate attacks that are tailored to exploit specific model weaknesses. We also need to consider bias exploitation. AI models are only as good as the data they're trained on, and if that data is biased, attackers can amplify those biases to create harmful or unfair outcomes. Another growing concern is the supply chain vulnerabilities. Many AI systems rely on third-party services or tools, and if those are compromised, it can introduce new risks into your AI system without you even realizing it. So, what can we do about all these threats? This is where mitigation comes into play. AI systems need to be designed with security in mind from the ground up. One way to do this is by strengthening the robustness of the model, making sure that it can withstand attacks by regularly testing it against adversarial inputs. Next is data protection. The data you train your models should be encrypted and closely guarded to prevent breaches or manipulation. Lastly, AI security isn't something you can set up and forget. You need a comprehensive security approach that includes regular monitoring, updates, and improvements to ensure your AI system stays secure over time. Think of it like this. Just as you would implement security layers for traditional IT systems, AI requires that same level of intention, but with the focus on specific vulnerabilities that it introduces. To sum up, AI systems face a wide range of threats that can target any stage of their life cycle. We've touched on adversarial attacks, data poisoning, bias exploitation, emerging risks like supply chain vulnerabilities, and moving forward, it's essential to understand that securing AI systems is an ongoing process. The threat landscape will continue to evolve, and so must your strategies to mitigate these risks. In the next module, we'll go deeper into specific types of adversarial attacks and how to defend against them. I hope you found this overview helpful, and I look forward to guiding you through the next steps in securing your AI systems.